Okay, folks. Hello and welcome to another episode of Marketing Insights. I'm your host, Yasha Harari, and look at that. Hey, folks, if you're just joining us, welcome to another episode of Marketing Insights. I'm your host, Yasha Harari, and today I am going to go over an answer I posted on Quora about SEO tricks and hacks that are often used by SEO agencies and professionals. I get asked this question quite a lot, actually, and so when I saw it posted today on Quora, I thought I should go over this because it really does seem to be a question I get asked a lot on an ongoing basis. What do you need to do? What are the best tricks? What are the best hacks? How can you get ahead of the game with SEO in 2019 when there's so much competition? And how can you, stay ahead of the pack, beat the bell curve and all that stuff when there's so much going on in the world of SEO? So I wrote this answer, and I figured I should review it for everybody because in case you don't have time to read this on Quora, maybe you just want to listen to a video in the background going over this for you. So without further ado, let's just get started. All right. So number one, in answer to the question, what are some of the SEO tricks and hacks often used by SEO agencies and professionals? Number one, they, including myself and my marketing SEO agency, do their research thoroughly and know what they're doing and what their benchmarks, hurdles, and goals are. They know the data and how to work with it, right? This means basically that you need to know what you're researching, right? Know your topic, know your market, know your niche, know your competitors, know what they're doing, know where their links are, know your KPIs, user sessions, time on site, engagements, bounce rate, pogo stick rate. Are they, coming in your site, getting satisfied and leaving upon satisfaction, or are they coming in and just leaving? What's the effect? Which funnels are working best? Know all the data, right? Number two, they do or get all of their work done by hand. No robots, no garbage content, no fake traffic. The intention is to earn links and ranking and better organic performance. You can't game that long term for any real brand. The search bots are simply too smart to be fooled by any big or even small brand for any long period of time. If you've been in SEO for any period of time now, the last year even, or 6 months, or 3 months, or certainly any period of time longer than a year, you should know that all these gimmicky tools that people use to generate traffic or to generate, fake engagement, clicks, likes, shares, views, all those things, they are effectively not very useful, right? Google knows about those things. Google thinks those things are a joke. They have very smart engineers at Google and Yahoo and Bing and Yandex and DuckDuckGo and you name it, at top search engines. They have really smart engineers who figure out all kinds of algorithms to put onto calculating the value of a page, right? So as a rule, if you use bots, if you use PBNs, if you use things that make automated garbage content, ultimately, yes, it can work for a short time if you're unknown and you just need to have some links out there. It can help you establish a small baseline of links. That's fine. If you're not a known brand and you're on page 100 of the Google search result, you're trying to just get up there to start fighting for your place. But it won't really help you long term, and you're best not to start with those things ever at all. You can use them, but I recommend against them, and they're definitely not the best white hat policy. You can use them in white hat ways, and that's the only way you should ever use them. but they're not really producing amazing content, even when they're used with white hat, fully transparent and everything. If you're declaring on there, I am who I am, I'm Popeye the Sailor Man, and you have a link to your official Popeye the Sailor Man website and Twitter page and YouTube and everything else, even in that situation, it's still just genuinely better not to use robotic content, not robotic traffic, not anything like that, because you're faking the funk, and Google's not going to let you earn your way to the very top. Right? They'll let you fight your way into the middle with that kind of thing, but they won't let you earn your way to the top if you want to be at the top. So get your work done by hand. It's a hard game. You might not like it, but don't hate the player, hate the game. And if you can't handle it, get a job somewhere else, doing something else, because this is what SEO is about. Number 3, they value producing genuine, authoritative content and the best possible user experience and customer journey. Right? User experience is referred to often as UX. Customer journey is often referred to as CJ. Basically, those are the values that create the content that you need, that you're looking for. If you're a searcher, right? You need to have high values for creating, to create genuine, authoritative content. And when you have those high values, and you create that content and you put it up in such a way that is useful, practical, immediately available, accessible, frictionless, smooth, easy to use, and profitable, well, then you got a winning formula, right? So you put all that together. That's why marketers value producing such high value, genuine content. Right? Better to produce one amazing piece of content that'll bring you 10 million viewers than to produce 100 pieces of crap content that won't bring you any viewers, right? And you're going to produce that one amazing piece of content for the same overall cost, if not less, than 100 pieces of crap. So focus on quality, not quantity. Right? They collaborate. Number 4, they collaborate with other teams, departments, colleagues, and make sure they are aware of the importance of their stake and the impact of their collaborative efforts in order to get the maximum impact that benefits the whole organization. Right? That's another way of saying you got to get along. You got to know how to network within your own business. You got to know how to make things happen between people. The people that are vested in your efforts are the ones who are going to make sure that it works. Right? The ones who don't care, the ones who don't know, the ones who don't feel connected, they don't care if you succeed or fail, and frankly, they'd probably be better off without you. Right? One less headache to deal with, because you're not informing them, you're not telling them how important they are to your work. If you're a solid SEO, you make sure that everyone around you knows why it's important that they're doing what they're doing, and that the impact of their work on your work can be a quantitative effect, net effect, right? A multiplier, actually, of positive returns. And if they know that, they're more likely to contribute to that effort. If they don't know that, they're more likely to not really care and to just let you wither away and, blow away in the wind or whatever. So that's why collaboration is key. Number 5, they use data science, big data, and psychographic mapping to better understand and satisfy the user intent in order to improve the user experience and customer journey, and thus the key performance indicators, or KPIs, and business drivers, or BDs. And I posted a URL there. I posted a little link there to my podcast that I reposted on SoundCloud about psychographic mapping your user experience. So if you visit this Quora article, you can click on that little link there and hear that podcast. They follow the rules. Number 6. Oh yeah, well, so big science. We should talk about that for just 1 second. Big science is massive, right? If you work in an enterprise that has any access to big science information on your users, you know that it can be quite impressive, and it can produce amazing bits of info about your visitors and how you can best use it for marketing and at the same time improve their experience. Psychographic mapping, user intent, knowing what your user wants before they even know it, right? Think about Google. When you search in Google and you start typing something and they offer you an autofill suggestion to, let's say, a question you're asking, and they know the question you want to ask before you even type it, and in some cases before you even realize what the actual question is. Like you might just type in a topic, let's say, I don't know, ultralight aircraft, right? And then it'll say to you, how to build or where to buy or whatever it's, where to fly, where to try. All questions that you might not have even thought of. It'll offer up the one that you actually really thought of more than, that you wanted even more than the ones you thought of. And they give you that information. So it can be quite impressive in that sense. To do user intent and psychographic mapping and put them all together, it can produce very impressive results. And that's why it's key to successful SEO if you have access to it. Not everybody has access to the big data tools, but, well, there are some that are free, and if you can implement them, you should. I put a link there again, so check it out if you want to know all about that. It's a very important part of big SEO wins. If you're, again, running a mid-sized company trying to get huge, or running an already huge company, this is something you should be doing. Even a small business, it's like a couple hundred employees or something, should be doing something like this. So, number 6, SEOs, they follow the rules, right, as spelled out in black and white and some other colors by Google. Right? There's actually over 200 elements Google weighs, and much more really, and of those, these are officially the most important. Important enough to be in their official guidelines anyway. And it's available to anyone online for free, courtesy of Google itself. Here's a short link. You can grab it through my marketing agency's domain. It redirects right to the Google link, which is quite long, and it is the Google Content Quality Guide. Okay, it's the guidelines that they give their quality evaluators to look at content and decide how to rank it and index it, etc. So that's really the Bible you should be using if you're wondering, what are the actual on-page elements I need to worry about? Well, if it's in this guide, you should be looking at it. You should be considering it. You don't have to do every single one of the recommendations for every page. Obviously, they're not all relevant for every page or every item or every whatever. But you should do the majority of them for as many pages as possible, or, you should do as many of them as necessary for any given page to give you the best results. And you're only going to know what that is by testing. But you obviously need to do the main ones, like title and meta description, and have good content that's clear and easy to read, properly spelled, and have interesting and compelling content that's shareable and makes people want to share it. If it doesn't have that, you have nothing, right? If you've got nothing to share, no one's gonna share, right? So, okay, that's an important one. Number 7, they build and manage multiple short-term experiments on an ongoing basis. Right? Always be testing, ABT. Of course, you should always be creative and test it and analyze the data and make adjustments on an ongoing basis. What do I mean here? Well, basically it means when you're doing SEO, just like it says here, you should always be testing, and you should be doing short-term experiments, right? You should be constantly doing little tests. Little tests. Don't try to build a new car every time you write an article, right? The car you're building is the big brand, or whatever metaphor you want to use. The bubblegum company you're building is the big brand you're building, right? That one brand, you're constantly tweaking how you're communicating the message about it in organic ways, right? So you need to be constantly doing little tests, because that's how you get the organic messages out. Organic messaging is not about blasting $1 million campaign behind one organic message for 6 months or a year, and then looking back at the results and then saying, yeah, it was a success, even though it was a total failure. But you have to announce it to be a success because everyone's bought into it, whether they like it or not. It was imposed maybe sideways, bottom up, top down, it doesn't matter. It was imposed, and it was a lame campaign. Rather than doing that, the old dinosaur method, just always be managing multiple short-term experiments. They give you fast, it's just, you'll get quicker results that way. You get, shorter-term experiments. And that brings us to number 8. They fail faster, right? Failure is not a word to be scared of in work and in professional life and in life in general, because you learn from your mistakes, or you should learn from your failures, right? So they fail faster. They learn from their failure faster, and they move on to the next test faster. It's a recurring cycle that never really ends. It just generally improves over time and yields faster and better results than traditional, slower, long-term testing campaigns. And again, I posted a link to a podcast I did. We posted on SoundCloud, explaining the whole concept of agile marketing and the methodology and how you can use it to win more with more failures. So again, the more failures you have, you shouldn't be afraid, because actually more failures is good, because it helps you to move on faster to the next thing, right? You don't want to be stuck on something and wonder, am I failing or succeeding for 6 months, and then find out, oh, I'm failing, and now try the next thing for 6 months. And then at the end of the year, you've done 2 experiments and you maybe succeeded in one and maybe failed in the other. That's not a really good success rate. Instead, you could fail faster on many, many tests, yielding you many, many more successes, right, as a result. Because the more you fail, the more you're going to succeed also if you are doing high volumes of tests. You're not going to fail every one of them if you're learning smartly from each failure. And again, you're not aiming for failure. You're aiming for success, but you don't care about failure. Doesn't slow you down, right? It's just another way you know this thing doesn't work. And you know how it doesn't work, and you write it down, you observe it, and you don't repeat that pattern, right? You do the next thing. So that's what the lesson is with failure. Don't be afraid of that word. So yeah, and then number 9, by doing all of these things, they stay ahead of the pack and are always innovating and pushing the envelope. So for example, it's 2019. Voice search is not a fad, right? If you have Google at home, Alexa, whatever, you have an Android phone or iPhone, you know you can ask your phone a bunch of questions and it can give you a bunch of answers, right? But it gives you one answer for each question. Well, voice search is not a fad, and yet most sites do not intentionally optimize for it. And yet it's a huge organic marketing opportunity. Here's a new video I posted on YouTube just the other day. It explains voice search optimization, or VSO, and how you can implement it and be the answer, or the answer, that Google's voice search engine results gives you for the question people ask about your product or service. And you can see there, basically, the video. If you're listening to this, is the still of the video here. You click the link when you go to this Quora article and you watch the video. And the video reviews really the leading articles about voice search optimization and how you can know what it is, how it's structured, how you can implement it, and what are the elements you need to implement to have a winning voice search optimized page. And the reason it's important is because VSO is a growing and massively important form of search, especially in the 18 to 34 and 35 to 54 crowds, right? Massively important. We're talking more than half of them use voice search on a regular basis, and they use it for everything from like looking for, places, looking for events, looking for things, looking for people. They look for all kinds of stuff with voice search, right? Looking for random weird answers, looking for curiosity answers, looking for answers to burning questions that they've had, looking for information about sports events, looking for information about, cultural stuff, or, they have scientific questions. There's no shortage of answers. Looking for recipe information, looking for, hardware information or how-to information. There's a ton of practical information that is available on voice search already, and it's only getting better. And the more you optimize for search on voice, the more you are going to be able to take advantage of what is still basically a land grab, right? Yes, it's been around for 4, 5, 6 years already, but not everybody has been optimizing for it yet because the science wasn't there yet to return awesome results necessarily for everyone. And there wasn't yet the volume of traffic there. But in the last few years, that volume of traffic has really taken shape. And if you don't start optimizing for voice, you are definitely going to start losing, even this year in 2019. You're going to start losing significant traffic to voice search. Because, again, there is one answer per question in voice search. One, right? That's not a lot. Yes, if you're on a desktop or a laptop, it'll pull up a search page. So you'll see other answers. But when you're listening to it by Google at home, or you're just listening to your phone or your Android device or your whatever device, even an iPhone can search Google, right? And Siri can search Google and give you answers it finds on Google. Even in that case, when you're just listening, you don't have much real estate. It's one answer, that's it. And you can keep answering, keep asking just different questions and get a different answer each time. but that means you need to be the answer. And again, it's a wide open field. So how to do that is clearly marked out in this video. Take a look, grab as much of it as you can in terms of practical steps and use it. Get ahead. And really overall, at the end of this article, the summary essentially concludes in a sentence: top SEOs set high standards for themselves, their team, and whoever they're working with in order to crush the goals consistently while delivering the best possible experience to the people using their site, app, product, or service. Right? That's my quick guidelines. And what it means is, in a nutshell, right, to be the best at providing search engine optimization, you have to have the highest standards. You just have to say, okay, perform as if we're trying to be number one, even when we are number one. We're always trying to beat the best, even when we are the best. Use that same concept in any field, and it will be helpful if you are in a competitive field that needs success, right? It is a mentality, it is a frame of mind that in order to be number one, you have to constantly attempt to be better than number one. That way you will always deliver the best that you can. And when you are delivering the best that you can, your customers will see that. And if what you're delivering is good, and if it's what they want, they will genuinely appreciate that. So that is the summary of my rules for winning SEO in 2019. And to be perfectly honest, most of these principles have been going back decades in terms of delivering high standards and quality. That's not a new concept. Some of the new things are things like voice search, relatively, that you should be doing voice search optimization. There's a few things here. Some of the things related to psychographic mapping, where the tech just wasn't there 5-10 years ago, or user intent, similar thing. All these things have been getting better over time, but the values and principle ones, those remain consistent. So high quality, high standards, do your work. And I hope this has been useful to you. If it has, please let us know. Leave a comment, share it, do whatever you want. Be socially engaging because Google likes it. And if you have any questions about marketing, just head on over to this page on Quora or to my marketing agency website, yashaharari.com. And you can contact us there. If you have any questions about marketing or SEO, I'll be happy to answer. And of course, if you need any services, I'll be happy to put you into our service roster as a client and bring you on board and get you set up and getting you success with your marketing. So thanks again for listening. Hope you've all enjoyed. It's really been quite fun. And until next time, folks, take care.